and she will be called to the Torah tomorrow as a bat mitzvah. So Maya, I think that's you. So I think you should come up with your parents and your brothers, and we're going to light the candles, and we're going to bless the wine. We are on page 120 in our prayer books.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu lihadlik ner להדליק נר של שבת.
And on page 123 is the Kiddush. Maya, if you'll lift up the cup. And as soon as everybody gets to their page, you can begin to lead us in the Kiddush. Amen.
Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
You could have it, it's juice.
Yashikar. We're going to continue with the chanting of the Chadodi, page 138 in your Sidurim. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diburecha, ishmi'anu chad Adonai echad, u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'li'tila. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat nechuvi milcha, hini mikor ha'biracha mirosh v'kedem yisucha. Zot ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri ki ori, uri, shida beri kevod Adonai, alaik mikar. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela. Chadodi likrat kala, hini Shabbat nikabela.
Our last verse, which is on page 139, it's traditional to rise and face the doors as if we are welcoming in the Shabbos Queen.
Moed shalom atirit bala, gam bisim Likrat kalla, fini Shabbat, Kabbalat. Likrat kalla, fini Shabbat,
Well, now that the Queen has entered, we face forward. We turn to page 144. We remain standing, and we continue with the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yit kadol vit kadash shemir rabam Vial madi vrach irute viamlich malchutel Vichai yichol viamechon uvchai yichol beit Yisrael Bagalo Uvisman karim Vimeru Amen Yehish mirava mivorach Le'olam ulol me'ol maya Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach Ve'yitpa'ar v'trama ve'yinaseh V'yitador v'yitalal Shemit kudusha b'richu Le'ela min kobichata v'shirata Tushbichata v'nechimata Tamiran v'yarman V'yimeru Amen.
We're on page 146. Page 152.
Actually, we're going to go to page 150
Oh, please.
for Ahavat Olam.
Page 150.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadita Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shachbenu V'skominu nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayeinu V'yorech yaminu
יום ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Now, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You may all be seated, and we're on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובחומך, ושרתם לעולת על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We're on page 157. We're going to read responsively, please. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
High heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
עבדותיך ראו בניך, כי היה מפימו של מרים, זילי, עלו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך ירום בהם, יבוא בימי יבוא fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Page 160.
Yes, Hashkivenu, please.
Wonderful.
Please join us in Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Yamidinu Shomreinu L'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Yamidinu Shomreinu L'chaim V'shmor tzitinu Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Hamidinu Malkeinu L'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Hamidinu We join together in Vishamru, page 162. Vishamiru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat b'dorotan berit olam b'ni u'v'in b'nei Yisrael b'ni u'v'in b'nei Yisrael b'ni u'v'in b'nei Yisrael utilu Shabbat Shalom, Yalalalai, Shabbat Shalom, Yalalalai, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'yom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinavash, Shabbat vayinavash. Shabbat Shalom, Yalalalai, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom.
You can almost see the people of the past just dancing with us. It's evokes such beautiful memories. Page 164, we are time for tefillah, and I'd ask everyone to rise, please.
Ananana svatai tifta. Ananana ufiagin. Ufiagin tehilatecha. Ananana Adonai. Ananana svatai tifta. Ananana ufiagin. Ufiagin tehilatecha. Ananana Adonai. Ananana svatai tifta. Ananana ufiagin. Ufiagin tehilatecha. Ananana Adonai. Ananana svatai tifta. Ananana ufiagin. Ufiagin tehilatecha. Ananana Adonai. Ananana svatai tifta. Ananana ufiagin. Ufiagin tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'imahot, u'mevin geula livnei bneihem, v'ma'an shema be'ahavam, melech ozer, Moshiach u'magein. Baruch atah Adonai, magin Avraham v'Yizrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, b'chayhi ha'kolot harov le'hoshia, mashiv haruach morid ha'gashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, b'chayi hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mkayehim emunato, v'ishimi yafar, b'chamocha bar geburot, u'mito melach, melech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'nei marata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, b'chayhi hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha hakadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahlelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
And you may all be seated. We turn to page 173 and let's read together, please, at the top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
We continue with our prayer of thanksgiving on the top of page 177. Please join together. God of goodness, we give thanks
for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us, For all these and more, we offer our thanks.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulachana lehodot. Please join us for Shalom Rav, page 178. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Ra'ah al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Ra'ah al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha livarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים
I think we were all most hopeful that this week we could come into our sanctuary and not have to pray for those who struggle with the loss of life from gun violence. And yet, once again, this week, we remember those who lost their lives in a small town north of Sacramento. Again, such loss from violence that was unnecessary and should never have happened. Week after week after week, we pray for Shabbats of peace. We hope that we'll learn from what has happened before, and week after week, the same is repeated. We think we'll learn from history, and yet just this past week in Poland was a march of some 70,000 people that the world never thought it would see again, filled with Nazis and the rise of the far right. And throughout the world, there is hope and there is despair, there is abundance and there is hunger. It is all of the differences of the blessing and the curse. But as we sit here in our congregation, there are certainly many more blessings. First of all, a new young woman is going to take her place tomorrow as a bat mitzvah. Don't worry, Maya, I'm not going to ask you to come up here and do anything. But I am going to talk to you because you bring us hope for the coming of what will be, hope in our future, because you are proud to stand amongst our people and surrounded by your incredible family. There is hope because there's the joy of music. There is hope because there's a celebration of significant birthdays. And there is hope because there's a renewal of health. And there is hope because this week, God willing, all of us will be able to pause from a few minutes of whatever we are doing on Thursday just to say thank you. So for all those reasons of hope, let's pause for a few moments of our own prayer of hope and thanksgiving. Always on Shabbat, we offer special prayers for those who may be in need of extra healing. So if you're aware of someone for whom we shall sing our prayers of healing tonight, please feel free to share their names with us.
Jared Field.
Well, for all those known to us and unknown to us, we do indeed pray this song of healing.
If you'd like to follow along or you don't know the words, they are on page 371 in your prayer books, in the middle of the page.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Well, I realize that with each passing day, as we watch our own government and that of many others, we realize that there is not too much inspiration for leadership that is indeed inspiring us right now. There are coups, there are military difficulties, there are clashes within our own between parties and thoughts, and perhaps the attention is not being paid to those issues that really are front and foremost. Instead, we're being sidelined and having to talk about issues that we rather would stay off the front pages. But it's important to remember that there have always been, even in times of great difficulty, those who give inspiration and can truly be the heroes of our time. So I want to remind you this weekend of a very special anniversary that took place 40 years ago in the year 1977, on November 19th, to be exact. And it was then that one very brave and incredible leader of a nation made a historic visit that had never been made before. If anyone remembers, it was the President of Egypt, Anwar Sadat, who made his very first visit, literally a 10-minute flight from Cairo to Tel Aviv, and he crossed thousands of years of hatred. It was historic in so many ways because it laid the groundwork and the foundation for a peace that has still maintained itself to this very day. Yes, it has gone through trials and tribulations. Some say it's a cold peace, some say it's a warm peace, but in truth, it doesn't matter. It has been peace. And this from a nation that tried to destroy little tiny Israel 6 times. 6 times Egypt declared war on Israel, and each time they thought they would wipe the state off the map. Well, finally, 2 very tough men, Anwar Sadat, and at the time, the Prime Minister, if you remember, Menachem Begin, 2 of the toughest politicians you would ever want to read about. each known for getting in their corners and not budging. And yet they were able to meet over a handshake. It was a 44-hour trip. That was it. And during that time, Menachem Begin invited Anwar Sadat to address the Israel's Knesset, the equivalent of our Congress. And I want to share with you the words President Sadat shared that day. Today I tell you and declare it to the whole world that we accept to live with you in permanent peace based on justice. We do not want to encircle you or to be encircled ourselves by destructive missiles ready for launching, nor by the shells of grudges and hatred. I come to you today on solid ground to shape a new life and to establish peace. But to be absolutely frank with you, I took this decision after long thought, knowing that it constitutes a great risk. And boy, did it ever. For Israel, well, we gave back the Sinai, and it was very, very frightening because it was the buffer between Israel and Egypt and so many other countries, but Israel took the risk. And Egypt, well, they were thrown out of the Arab League, not something that any Arab country ever wanted to happen. But from that visit came great more moments. On September 17th of 1978, the Camp David Peace Accords were signed. And 6 months later, on March 26th of 1979, Sadat, Begin, and U.S. President then Jimmy Carter joined hands on the lawn of the White House. So very sad that the peace is held, but the life of Anwar Sadat did not. He actually was killed by his own people for being so brave and taking such a chance. He and Menachem Begin were awarded the 1978 Nobel Peace Prize, but he didn't live long to enjoy it as he was assassinated on October 6th of 1981. It's a fascinating history to remember. As I reflect back on it, it's hard to imagine. I was actually living in Israel from 1978 and 79, and remember clearly seeing all three gentlemen come out of the King David Hotel on King David Street in Jerusalem when they were visiting and signing the accords. Anybody in Israel at that time remembers gathering around what little black and white television you could possibly find, and there weren't too many of them, in order to watch the historic happenings and not believing what our eyes were seeing. So it is wonderful to remember back, but my goodness, I hope it doesn't take another 40 years for some brave and incredible leaders and men and women in governments that still hate and want to destroy to perhaps look back and see what a difference a handshake, a visit, and a peace accord can make if only you are daring enough and courageous enough to work for peace rather than hate. So it's a wonderful, wonderful historical lesson to think about this Shabbat. Another reason to give thanks and hope that the next 40 years, God willing, for Israel and for Egypt and for that entire very difficult and dangerous neighborhood can continue to know some peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Amen. Well, we're going to continue with our service now, page 586. I ask you to return to our prayer books for the Aleinu. Maya, can I invite you and your brother Devin, would you come on up and open the ark doors? And I'm going to ask everyone to rise, please.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצאי בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמעו
I do ask that you please remain standing so that we can remember those who are no longer physically present with us, but who are very much alive within our hearts and within our memories. On this Shabbat, we remember the yortzites, the anniversaries of those who died at this season in years past, as we remember James F. Andriola, Jerome S. Engel, Nicholas Feldman, Joseph Hanisch, Sidel Hirsch, Harold Hoffman, Lillian Ehrlich Kaplan, Larry Levitz, Joseph Martyr, Esther Nichter, Bernadette Riley, Elliot Stemple, and Alfred Sweetwood. If there is anyone else who's remembering a yortzeit and would like to share the name, please feel free to do so. And we remember 3 who have been taken from our midst in the most recent of days, as we remember Lilo Goldenberg, Robert Feinstein, and Anita Bogus. Our own loved ones' names are commingled with all those that we have loved and lost, as we always remember those of the American Armed Forces and the Israel Defense Forces who have given their lives in defense of our nation and in the land of Israel. We turn to page 598, and together we recite the Kaddish prayer in memory of our own loved ones and those who have no one left to remember them. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei tchol be'Israel, Bagala uvizman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam amei amaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yit'aman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'richu. Le'olam mim kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah mim shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We pray that the source of peace will send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, as we all say.
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated.
Shalom Ibrahim, Yisrael Yimaru Amen Yaseh Shalom Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu V'Yavo Yisrael 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 Yaseh Shalom Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu V'Yavo Yisrael.
Well, just a few announcements. First of all, our Shabbat worship and excitement continues tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, when Maya Klat will be called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. And we very much look forward to all of the celebration continuing as Maya chants for us and teaches, tells a few jokes, right? Be a lot of fun. Okay, good. Good. Most importantly, please, for those of you who are able, this Sunday, our atrium doors will be open between 9 and 11 a.m. in order to collect enough food goods to feed 100 families in our midst who do not have enough to eat this Thanksgiving. Regrettably, the problems of hunger in this nation, in our state, and in our very neighborhood continue to escalate. We did receive an SOS call because there are so many families going without this holiday season. Please, whatever you can, please come and drop it off in our atrium this Sunday between 9 and 11. If you cannot bring foodstuffs, then we will take gift cards, we will take donations and checks, and everything will be delivered Sunday afternoon to El Centro Americano in Plainfield to help feed the 100 families that we have promised to take care of this Thanksgiving season. So I hope that all of you can assist us with that wonderful mitzvah. And our Thanksgiving service of Shabbat will take place next Friday night, knowing that so many family will be visiting and so much is going on. That service will take place at 5:30. So please come and join us for Kabbalat Shabbat, and then make your way to continue enjoying your family, or don't tell me, but a good football game as well, I'm sure. So we'll look.
You can always TiVo it or DVR it or whatever. Very special thank you to the Hester Street Troop for being here. I'm sure you'll join me in thanking them. They will be back in January for yet another Shabbat service, so tell your friends if you enjoyed it, and please come back and join us again. We're going to conclude with Adon Olam. It's a fun melody by Saul Zim. It's on page 625, should you need the words. Adon Olam.
And please be sure to join us for our Oneg Shabbat in the rear of the sanctuary. Maya, come on up with all your friends, please. Come on up, friends. Come on, come on, come on.
Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malam. V'terem kol yitzini va. Yidasa v'efzo kol. Azai melech shemo nikra. Yacharei kikot hakol. Yivadlo yimov nora. Adon Olam, Asher Malam,
Maya, I think there's a few cousins out there too, right? Come on up, cousins. We need you to come eat this delicious need to feed challah baked right here. Maya can't eat it all by herself. Come on up. Any cousins? And here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom.
My pleasure. Thank you.